Hey guys, Level Cap here, and I've been following the Battlefield 5 news like a hawk, and there is so much information coming out. Some of it is fluff, some of it is quite substantial. Today, I want to talk about some of the things I have heard that excite me the most and concern me the most. Let's start off with the really exciting elements of Battlefield 5 that I think are going to change the game up more than any games in the past. The first thing on that list is squad play and squad leader abilities. To me, this sounds like the perfect implementation of the commander role, in which your team is not entirely reliant on one player for their tactical support. Giving each squad leader abilities that are tied into how well their squad is performing sounds freaking awesome. Obviously, the V1 flying bomb support will be one of the highlights of these abilities, but also calling in smoke barrages and custom vehicles will be extremely cool as well. Before, there wasn't a huge reason to stick with your squad other than getting squad revive bonuses and ammo points, but now the revive system can be used among any squad members, and it's greatly increasing the value of sticking together in a well-organized squad. I'm curious to see how this dynamic plays out, and it should make playing with friends a lot more valuable and fun. The next thing I'm most excited about is the return of extremely effective weapons. World War II weapons saw a much bigger rollout of accuracy and automatic guns for all types of combat, compared to World War I, of course. But one of the biggest things I missed in the last title was infantry-carried rocket launchers. The bazooka and Panzerschreck shoulder-fired rockets will be back, and we can finally have a quick-to-fire weapon to fight those damn tank hordes. Also, one of my favorite things to do was shoot down dive-bombing planes back in Battlefield 1942 with a bazooka, so that will be the ultimate nostalgia trip. The next thing I am most excited about are the vehicles. World War II had some of the most iconic war vehicles of all time. The B-17 bomber, the Tiger and Sherman tanks, Japanese Zeros, Mustangs, Spitfires, and Messerschmitts. Going back to tank combat with swiveling turrets and front-mounted machine gunners, if DICE can bring in realistic weak points and proper deflection angles, it could be even more exhilarating in tank combat. There's so much in the way of vehicles to choose from, and I cannot wait to test it all out. Aerial combat could be the ultimate sweet spot. Things got quite good in Battlefield 1, but the faster speeds of World War II could take it to the next level. I honestly think vehicle combat in this game could be some of the best we've seen in any Battlefield game to date. The next thing is the complete removal of behemoths, elite classes, and battle packs from the game. Yep, one of the most exciting things of Battlefield 5 is the complete removal of some of the worst features from Battlefield 1. No more annoying behemoth deaths slowing down the gameplay, no more elite classes putting you into unwinnable firefights, and no more random loot crates dictating what cool weapon skins you happen to get. This is a massive improvement over the previous title, and it's nice to see DICE recognizing some of the design mistakes of their previous game. Now, the next thing is probably one of the most important changes of this title, and that is the removal of premium and the replacement with Tides of War, which is basically DICE's name for treating Battlefield 5 as a service. This means releasing maps and battles in order in which they were fought during the war, timed events, cosmetic rewards, and even more. The importance of DICE finally making the switch cannot be understated. This is something they should have done with Battlefield 3, and frankly they waited until pretty much the whole industry started to treat their games as services before switching over. At least it's finally happened, and microtransactions are the way of the future for most games now, and Battlefield will do well with it. I have confidence in DICE's ability to make desirable cosmetics that people want to spend some money and time to stand out from the crowd. Next on the list is the classic conquest system coming back. It is finally official. Ticket bleed will be going down instead of up, and teams will need a majority of flags to cause the other team to lose tickets over time. The ultimate comeback will return, and Conquest can regain its lost glory that so many players miss. It's disappointing that this was never changed for Battlefield 1, but I guess that will be one of its many abstractions compared to other Battlefield titles. Conquest is still and will probably always be one of the best game modes in Battlefield, and Battlefield 1 took away a lot of its glory. So those are the things I am most excited about for Battlefield 5. Frankly, there's a lot of other things, but those are sort of the biggest features, I think, that really get me pumped up for the next title. Let's move on to my list of concerns for the game. The first one is more of a mixed feelings, as it could be a great improvement or not good enough to get that classic gameplay I seek. The weapon mechanics are sounding promising for Battlefield 5, with the unique recoil patterns for each weapon and massive nerfs to the random deviation. We could see a return to the high skill ceiling. In fact, that's pretty much exactly what the developers are claiming. I personally am a little concerned that the time to kill mechanics will stay the same as Battlefield 1, and that could be bad news. The slow time to kill of Battlefield 1 can often better ascertain a dominant player in a pure 1v1 firefight, but rarely is there a pure 1v1 firefight in Battlefield, and usually the engagement times are so long because of the slow time to kill that it's usually whichever team has more numbers in the fight will end up winning. And I think this overall detracts from the skill curve in Battlefield games. They haven't mentioned time to kill at all with the weapon design mechanics, and that concerns me that they're not changing time to kill back to what it used to be in Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4. Only time will tell. My next concern is grenade spam. DICE said that the limited amount of ammo would reduce the amount of grenades in the game. I'll believe this when I freaking see it. Battlefield 1 made the worst changes to grenade mechanics I've ever seen in a Battlefield title. I feel sick in my gut when I think about what shit the grenade mechanics are in this game, and when I see the customization screen for the new Grenadier class in Battlefield 5, I get very concerned. This class starts off with at least 2 grenades and some throwable dynamite, so there's no indication here that there could be any less grenades on the battlefield. I am always highly concerned about DICE's ability to reduce explosion and grenade spam in their games. Their track record on this front is terrible, and they repeat their mistakes even after making fun of the issue back in an iconic Battlefield Bad Company 2 trailer. So hell yes, I am concerned about grenade mechanics and grenade spam in Battlefield 5, even if DICE says that it's being reduced. That hasn't meant much in the past. My next concern is the way that DICE is treating, or rather forcing, the teamwork with the limited ammo and health mechanics of the new attrition system. As if the I need ammo meme wasn't bad enough from previous games, now it could be even more ridiculous with players spawning in with limited ammo, all chasing the oblivious support players around the map. This is, frankly, my nightmare. Again, DICE has a really bad track record on implementing good teamwork through in-game mechanics, so when I heard that both health and ammo will be changed and you will need both medics and support to top off, I got a bit scared. Again, this all sounds cool on paper, but I've been playing with the average Battlefield player since 2002, and you could put a giant red arrow over my head that says ammo, and I'm pretty sure most of them aren't giving me ammo. So I'm extremely concerned about the attrition mechanics coming in the next game and what this will actually do to the pacing and my frustration levels of playing with casual or random players. Now, continuing on with this same sort of team play train of thought, I am also worried about the scoring system once again. Battlefield 1 implemented a lot of what I like to call fake teamwork incentives. And focusing on these fake teamwork mechanics, players can put themselves on top of the scoreboard without actually doing things that lead their teams to victory. For example, if an entire squad moves across the map from flag A to flag B, and over this journey they don't kill anyone, but they shoot, they take damage, and they even die and revive each other, by the time they reach flag B, that squad will have generated a lot of scoreboard points, but they will have made exactly 0 impact on the actual progress of winning the game. Now, say I'm waiting for them on flag B and I ambush and kill the whole squad. Something that would actually take a good level of skill to accomplish. I stop them from capping a flag, kill 4 players, forcing them to respawn back on some faraway objective. I've made a huge team contribution, but the amount of points I'm awarded for said contribution is almost certainly less than that squad earned from just topping off their ammo, healing, and reviving each other on the journey. This is just one example of literally hundreds of scenarios I've found myself in which the player contributing most to winning the game for their team is rewarded less than somebody who's just throwing some ammo around or supporting their teammates in ways that may in fact actually not contribute to the win in any way whatsoever. I'm not saying that healing or distributing ammo or reviving is not an important aspect of playing Battlefield, but the way DICE has rewarded it over Battlefield 1 feels very much like giving players participation trophies, and ultimately I don't think it really has a huge impact on encouraging players to play the game in a good manner or a more meaningful manner, as often seen by the flag capping mechanics in the game being worth so many points. Players often bunch up and go for the easy caps rather than the challenging caps, as you will get more points from capping quicker rather than prolonged firefights and well-fought battles. And the new attrition mechanics being talked about for Battlefield 5 lead me to think that they're going to even further push the scoreboard mechanics in a way that does not reward actual teamwork and instead promotes mediocrity in the gameplay. Alright, my last two concerns are somewhat related to each other. The first one is the reward system being heavily tied into the grand operation system, with time rewards and stuff like that, requiring players to play grand operations. Currently in Battlefield 1, some of the best rewards and battle packs are tied to playing the operations game mode. Operations can often feel like a chore to play, as so many of the maps cluster the gameplay on insanely choke-pointed maps, giving you little in the way of strategic options. I hope DICE expands the reward system to conquest a well, or allow players to choose what game modes they want to play instead of forcing them to play modes that they don't particularly like. This concern leads into map design. Everyone has always made a big point of focusing on gunplay design in Battlefield, but really the map design is just as important, if not more, when comparing it to gunplay. When you watch a Call of Duty map revealed, the developers talk about firing lines, flow of the map, choke points, and long range versus close range sections. In Battlefield, their maps just feel all over the place, and they often end up with many poorly designed areas. Argonne Forest on Operations, for example, clusters 64 players into 3 lanes. Add mortars and grenade spam to the equation, and you have one of the worst Battlefield experiences I can imagine. Map design in Battlefield continuously shows me that DICE does not have a good grasp on how to properly adapt and scale maps given the game mode. Conquest gives you more movement options and flanking routes, where Operations just says run through these choke points of death and hope for the best. I hope that DICE can figure out a way to expand the front lines and grand operations so that the game modes offer more strategic options and take more calculated approaches to their map design in general. Anyway, that wraps it up for my list of things I'm most looking forward to and things I am most concerned about for the next Battlefield title. Let me know in the comments what you think about this list, if there's anything you would like to add to either the excitement factor or the concern factor. I'd love to hear from you guys and sort of get a read on what the community is thinking. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.